Ari Vatanen, co-driven by Ireland's Terry Harriman, has re-established himself at the top of rallying's World Championship ladder.
Problems at all, so it was trouble-free run, and car was very good indeed, and it is very good, and so I'm sure that car will have a bright future.
That was a turnaround in the history of Peugeot. So it was a combination of new car and motorsport program, and so we were winning rallies and fighting for victories, but this program played absolutely fundamental role in saving livelihoods of ordinary workers at the Peugeot factory.
Portugal, Britain's oldest ally and a land where time seems to have moved slowly. But once a year, the World Rally Championship arrives in the northern part of this country, and the peace is replaced by excitement, enthusiasm and noise. Three of the World Championship, and the big question was whether the rough roads would halt the domination of the Peugeot 205. This was the first time the little French four-wheel drive machine would have to show their out-and-out ruggedness as well as their unquestionable speed.
The roads were very rough during the recce. I mean, they really had deteriorated since '81 when I was here last time a lot, and it looked like mini safari, and that view was shared by everybody. But always they have done a lot of work just a few days before the rally, and providing it doesn't rain, I mean, road should be quite a bit better. But it's not going to be a question of who is the fastest. It's going to be a matter of keeping the car in one piece and hopefully not to have punctures. And therefore it's a bit more lottery than the previous rallies we have done.
The start was at the Estoril Autodrome, seen 6 months earlier, the titanic struggle in which Niki Lauda won the Formula One World Championship. An uncustomary third place for Ari Vatanen, more used to leading rallies these days, while teammate Timo was warming up in fourth place. Following a puncture, Vatanen drove 8 kilometres on a flat, but finally the rear suspension collapsed and Vatanen had to retire before the end of the Arcos stage.
That they threw one big stone to windscreen.
The man on the charge, Timo Salonen, now with all of Peugeot's facilities behind him, and they would be needed. Suddenly, there was high drama.
We broke the steering rack. We are going very slowly, but now we got small problem here.
When did it break?
In that section.
That last stage?
No, in that section.
In the road section?
Yes.
Are they going to be able to fix it?
Yes, we have service van coming that we can get the new one.
But the service van had been delayed in traffic. Now every second of spanner work would count.
Seppo, are they in time, do you think?
I don't know how long it takes to repair this.
The well-organised PTS mechanics have a new steering rack to replace the broken one. But can they fit it in time? Adding to the high drama, the Peugeot flying mechanics arrive to assist. The seconds are ticking away, and if Timo doesn't make it to the next time control within his limit, he will be out of the rally. Impatiently, he sounds the horn. The car is repaired, but will they stay inside that time schedule? Yes, Timo Salonen was still in the rally and still in second place. Could he close up on Walter Rural?
So Timo, you must be very pleased now.
Yeah, I don't know, because we're leading by Walter's problem. Of course, I'm not so happy if we're leading by driving, then it's different.
leaders of the World Rally Championship have 3 four-wheel drive 205 turbos entered, including a brand new winged wonder.
If any team is likely to challenge the Lancias, then it will be Peugeot, with 3 205 turbos in the hands of Ari Vatanen, Timo Salonen and Bruno Sebi. It is remarkable that it was only 12 months ago that Peugeot debuted the four-wheel drive 205 rally car, and have in that short space of time scored 6 World Championship wins.
Harry, 12 months ago you debuted the Peugeot 205 T16. Did you think then that you would enjoy the success that you have over the last 12 months?
No, I couldn't predict that. I mean, I knew that in the long run car would be successful. I had the confidence in the team, but I couldn't believe that we could have so much success in such a short period of time. So it really has been a good year for me and overall, really very good.
Now, this event sees the debut of the Mark II version of the 205 in the hands of Bruno Sebi. Do you feel a little bit thwarted that you haven't been given a chance with the new car?
I was. No, in all fairness, I was given a chance, and only when I turned it down, Bruno got to go at it. So I wanted to play it safe. I'm sure that car can finish the rally, but in any case, it's a little bit unknown quantity, and therefore, from point of view of championship, I wanted to play safe, and I opted for the old one. Whether I'm right or wrong, but I don't know. But in any case, it was quite a good decision.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about the new car? How does it differ from the one that you're driving, for instance?
Well, at least on a straight line, it is at least the feeling is when you drive it, it's a lot faster, and it really is very, very fast. And first time when I drove it, I was frightened, just because of the sheer power and acceleration, and it's very close to what Formula 1 cars used to be a couple of years ago. At least acceleration below 100 miles an hour, and even from 0 to 200 kilometers an hour, it does in about 10 seconds, which is very fast going. So I mean, we have jumped into a new era in the new generation of rally cars altogether.
So when will we see you in the Mark II version? Which event?
We should have it on the Thousand Lakes, you know, and that's a matter of aviation, I suppose.
With the Evolution car entrusted to Bruno Sebi, it is left to the two Finns to carry on their winning ways with the tried and trusted earlier version. Timo Salonen has been getting much quicker and much more confident as the season has progressed.
I tried to finish this rally, and I keep my speed, and I hope that I am in top 3.
And how do you think the car's going to go on tarmac? Because you are not a particular fan of tarmac rallies, are you? You prefer the gravel?
Yeah, you know, I like more on gravel, but you know, like in Portugal, I was all right on asphalt. It's very hard, this rally for driver.
What about the new Evolution car, the Mark II 205? Would you like to have your hands on that for this event, or are you happy that Bruno's driving it?
No, you know, of course I was ready to take that car. Just, you know, it's very fast, but for me it's better to take this old car and look the World Championship points and try to finish this rally.
Now in Sweden you told us that you hadn't got to grips with the Peugeot, that you weren't driving fast enough and you had to get fit.
Yes.
Have you seen an improvement in any of those things?
Yes, sure, you know, and now I did nearly every day bodywork, and like in Monte Carlo I did 5-6 kilometer flat out on asphalt. I was completely finished, but now I can make 20-30 kilometer flat out, it's no problem.
So you feel a lot happier about life?
Yes, no problem now.
The following morning on the quayside at Bastia, and the ferry Napoleon has cruised around from Ajaccio to be on hand for the restart. 80 crews from the original complement of 139 have made it this far. Further along the road, the Peugeot personnel wave a sweating Ari Vatanen into the service area. He is aware that the gap to Ragnotti is perhaps too great for even his talents and the dominant 205 to overhaul, but that still doesn't stop him trying.
Warm work this morning, Ari.
Yes. Warm and hard, yes.
You seem to be working very hard on that first stage. You obviously taken some time off money.
A minute or so, yes. But you know, we have to work for our pay, don't we? Each of us.
I forgot. I just got myself so enthusiastic. I went to the flow. I just, but I enjoyed it, and also those setbacks. When you drive every corner as if it was your last corner, then yes, you win less, but you gain a lot.
The final leg was to have a sting in the tail. As crews headed south towards Ajaccio, dark clouds over the mountains heralded rain to add yet more problems of tyre choice to the already overworked service crews and team managers.
I remember those bends, the ones I did not make. and there are many. Or maybe it's that dip on the road on that long straight in Argentina where I nearly died. The only downside in the behavior of 205 was the certain kind of dip. If the back end hit at the opposite end of the dip, I mean, it launched the back end up, and there's nothing you could do. It is about the weight distribution, and anyway, so there was a dip, something which wasn't there during the recce, and so that just launched the car end over end, and my seat broke, and I didn't have a clutch belt, and so all my massive injuries because I was not held anymore, and it was nothing. It was an absolute straight piece of road. It must have been at least 180, and then just end over end. So I'm very extremely lucky to be here today. There's multiple injuries, and if it wasn't for the helicopter which came to look for me, I mean, I wouldn't be here today. I mean, I was not, in this world anymore, and all I had kept apparently saying, no more rallies, no more rallies.
I think we're coming to quite nice passage after this, right and left. Next right here, it will be quite...
The Thousand Lakes is the one they all want to win. And last year, it was the first ever victory for the superb four-wheel drive Peugeot 205, driven by Finland's Ari Vatanen. But as the Peugeot team prepare for the world's most spectacular rally, they do so knowing they've virtually clinched the Manufacturers' Championship after 6 wins from 8 events.
not nice weather for feeling, but I think so. We have good chance. Our car is good on a little bit slippery road, but feeling is of course not so nice to drive in wet conditions.
How are the wings and things going to be affected by the jumps? You know.
No, it's no problem.
No problem.
No, our car is very good now on jumps.
With so much at stake, Timo Salonen was taking it comparatively easily in the early stages, but nimble Peugeot slowed by a faulty damper.
Good practice. Only one problem in Ouninpohja stage. The left front shock absorber broken and we lost some time, but otherwise everything working well.
So if it hadn't been for that, you probably would be leading now, would you?
I'm quite sure because we lost 12 seconds to Marco and we did quite slowly this stage.
So tomorrow you will soon be able to catch him, do you think?
Tomorrow we start, yes.
Salonen had a dilemma. Play safe and be sure of vital World Championship points, or go hard for a win and risk retirement. But Timos are thin. This is the 1,000 Lakes and that's the ultimate. So it's all out for a win and watch him go. Peugeot of Kalle Grundle, deputising for the injured Ari Vatanen. Like Toivonen, Grundle went off in stage 1 and like Henry, he's moving up. Salonen at the rally's only tarmac stage, the traditional 2-kilometre blast through the streets of Jyväskylä. And here is Grundle, an amazing drive. Fastest on the tarmac stage, and that's with a completely rejigged front suspension, rebuilt to compensate for his bent chassis. Look at Grundle. Finish in the top 6 was his brief, and now he's 4th after a superb recovery.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Rally of Thousand Lakes, Timo.
So that was the best moment when I finished 85,000 Lakes Rally, and I won the rally, and that time year I was already sure world champion. You know, it was Sanremo Rally car, and I wait in the mountains in one restaurant, and they bring the proper rally car just to test that everything is okay. And they were, when they came in the restaurant to tell Timo car is ready, front of the door, they were smiling a little bit, and I think something funny is coming. And there was ashtray and matches and Marlboro.
The Sanremo Rally, never short on atmosphere or sunshine. A 4-day high-speed loop around the Mediterranean coast of northwest Italy. It hadn't rained in this part of Italy for 3 months. No problem if you spend your life on the beach, but a big problem if you spend your working life in a rally car. Champion Timo Salonen in the Peugeot 205. Peugeot world champion manufacturers going for a clean sweep. Saabi held a scant 2-second lead after these opening sections. Right behind came the world champion Salonen and the Quattro of Walter Rall. Even at this early stage, the Lanciers looked beaten. But now the rally was going to change dramatically, from tarmac to gravel, and the cars had to change as well. In about 40 minutes, everything from brakes to transmission, engine to suspension, ripped out and replaced, showing what an apparently flimsy skeleton a modern rally car is. No component too small to come under scrutiny. Hard to believe that in about 30 minutes, this will be a rally car, travelling at over 100 miles an hour. The framework of the car apparently fragile, but very, very strong. Each component individually marked. For Salonen, a massive prop shaft about to take a tremendous pounding on the gravel. A sophisticated, super-quick rebuild in the unsophisticated surroundings of a Tuscany farmhouse. The first nightfall, Saabi, the pacemaker, had dropped to third. Rall in the Quattro led Salonen in the Peugeot by just 7 seconds. Tyre choice had been all important on the gravel. Salonen had gambled and lost the advantage. He was using a new compound and decided to stick with that for the experience. After all, the world title was already safe. The rally had begun a day late to try and limit the crowds up in the mountains, but here in Tuscany, the Italians are a dedicated, if rather foolhardy, breed. The early leader, Bruno Saabi, in the very twitchy Peugeot. Saabi had suffered engine problems on the first day. There was no improvement, and he's noticeably slow. And already he dropped behind Alain. Second place Salonen scattering the crowds. He has to watch the gap getting bigger. Next stop on the tourist route was Pisa. The tower in the usual position, but the gap between Rawl and Salonen getting wider. And Salonen knew he just couldn't go any faster.
Not in this moment anyway, and with that practice, but for next rally we must do something, and we try to, because Walter, he was so fast here.
But he must have been surprised at the speed of the Quattro.
Yes, a little bit, because in normal our car is faster, but
so Rawl. Timo Salonen would hold second place for Peugeot.
Timo, you had a cracking year with 5 wins. I mean, you're almost in there with the record, aren't you, if you win the Lombard RAC?
yes, this year was very, very good for me, very nice. It helped a lot when I changed team in.
Yes? Changing team to the Peugeot, you mean?
Yes, yes.
What do you think of the car?
The car is very good, and it's even better than last year here.
What are the major changes from last year's car?
We have more horsepower. I think so. We have about 100 horsepower more.
Really?
And,
over 400 horsepower now then?
Yes, we have 450. And weight is about 80 kilos less. Yes. And some change, we have better brakes and some small change more.
What about this big aerofoil on the back end?
It's helped a lot of on jump.
Yes.
You know, it's keep rear more down.
When the car jumps into the air, you mean? Like in the Thousand Lakes
yes,
Rally?
Yes, it's big help in Thousand Lakes.
What are your own feelings about the Lombard RAC? I mean, is it a rally you like?
Let's say I like the forest and the Pesia stage, but I don't like at all this that we don't have enough rest, enough time to sleep.
You mean doing 5 days with only 1 night's sleep?
Yes, it's terrible.
Yes.
and it's not nice at all. And
what about driving on these forest stages where you haven't had a chance to see them before or practice on them?
It's some forest, you know, in the drivers who drive here in many local rallies and same forest, they know a little bit. For me, it's not so good, but in this long rally.
You still seem to do pretty well.
Yeah.
But it's the sleeping you don't like, is it? The absence of sleeping?
No, it's crazy. We spoke with our team doctors, and they sent letter to organization after Sanremo Rally, but they didn't change nothing. And our plan is that maybe we stop this rally on Tuesday evening.
Tonight's reports on the RAC Rally 85.
Coming into fifth gear, doing about 85, 90 miles an hour, sliding a bit, knock the speed off.
Good evening and welcome to Rally Report 85, the first of two editions this evening. Well, at last, after weeks and months of practice and preparation and winding themselves up, the drivers in this year's Lombard RAC Rally are at last underway. 155 entries, making it easily the biggest event in the world rallying calendar. The cars ranging from the £100,000 supercars, the works teams, to, for example... Normally, the start of this rally is a sort of ritual event in the centre of the town somewhere, and then the cars trundle off 20 miles or so to the first special stage. But here, the start is for real. The cars are being driven in anger right off the line. Let me hand over now to our rally commentator, Brian Jones.
The 1985 World Rally Championship is into its final round, and here at Woollerton Park we see Timo Salonen, the 1985 World Champion, actually starting this stage in Woollerton Park. For the first time, the RAC Rally is actually starting right into a special stage, and so Salonen has, right through the gate, had to go against the clock, and we have times, unofficial times, that are going to tell us what the standard is that he's going to set. This, of course, is the Peugeot 205 T16, which has perhaps surprised the rallying world by taking the 1985 World Championship. Salonen the Finn is really into where to go, and there's a huge crowd here at Woollerton Park to watch him. 94 miles an hour as he comes down to brake for this very, very tight left-hander, and then powering away. Remember, this is a four-wheel drive turbocharged car, and sliding on the exit, we come up to the line to see just what his time will be through the stage. I must emphasize this is an unofficial time, and as he goes through at the end of the first stage, it's 1 minute 29.16 seconds. Kalle Grundle in the second Peugeot 205 T16. He's actually the current German rally champion, and he's really only been on the fringes of the World Series in this 1985 season. He actually finished in the 1,000 Lakes despite having quite a severe crash, and he finished fifth. 100 miles an hour for Kalle Grundle from Sweden. Sliding the car through, and you could see the way with the four-wheel drive cars that they are able to get the power down so much earlier. And let's watch it here. A beautiful exit from the corner, powering him away to the finishing line. 1:30.01.
And now the third of the Peugeots, Mikkel Sundstrom. Also good time, 1 minute 33. And behind the Lanciers come the Peugeots, fastest of which is Timo Salonen. He, of course, has won the 1985 World Championship by taking a record 5 World Championship events. But it seems possibly now the Peugeots have met their match with Lancia, who certainly have got the legs, but have they got the reliability? Sundstrom now. So they've got 3 cars in the first 7 of Peugeot.
Timo Salonen, the new 1985 world champion, is making it all look very easy on this stage. Certainly settling down to a very good early stage in the rally. Western Park special stage, number 5. Timo Salonen overshot the corner at Towngate, narrowly missing straw bales. But here, he finishes second fastest in the Peugeot.
Just 1 second ahead of Kalle Grundle in the first of the works Peugeots. Salonen's got ahead of Wilson by just 1 second. And of course, by the time 12 cars have gone through, there's more and more mud dragged onto the road, leaving grip at an absolute premium, and therefore four-wheel drive is almost essential. Do you know?
Timo Salonen, reigning world champion, and you've had a very good year so far this year. How is the rally going for you? Well, here
now, yes, we start a little bit maybe too slow, but it's better because in those some stages are very slippery, but there's really rally start now when we go into forest.
What have the conditions been like today for your car?
For my car is good in, and some stages very slippery and muddy, but normal stages was good. No any problems.
And of course, it was a Peugeot that won last year. How do you rate your chances?
I think so. We have very good chance.
World champion Timo Salonen in the Peugeot made progress up to second place, but a puncture and a... Michael Sundström in the Peugeot 205 has consistently performed well. A few brake problems, but still, he's 7th. Kalle Grundle, fastest in at least 3 stages, the Swedish driver ripped his spotlights off in a spin. He's lying 3rd.
Dawn breaks over central Wales, with Marco Alain in 2nd and Timo Salonen here in 3rd place, just 6 seconds behind that. But of course it's not all action. Time has to be found for servicing the cars and keeping them in good running order. Kalle Grundle's Peugeot here, and he's blissfully unaware at this stage of the trouble that's about to befall him and co-driver Terry Harriman. Terry still nursing an injury to his neck. A pattern is emerging. The reliable cars, the proven cars, are beginning to fall by the wayside, one by one. And Kalle Grundle, coming up now in his Peugeot, is to be no exception. Just round this corner, disaster.
Radio! Radio!
go!
Grundle and Harriman are down there in the ditch somewhere.
Get that next car flag down.
We can see the underside of the car, but where are the occupants? Where's Grundle? Where's Harriman? There's always a chance of fire. They've got to get them out. Grundle emerges. Shaken, but otherwise unhurt. Dazed, he's standing in the middle of the road. There's a car due.
You all right, Kelly? Yes, no problem.
And it's Brooks who comes through, still outside the top 10. But where's Harriman? Don't forget this damaged neck he's got. He might be in severe pain down there. But no, he's just looking for his cigarettes.
What number is it? 12. 12. Yeah, they're both okay, but watch out.
The marshals don't seem to know which car it is.
Well, you really got that, haven't you?
Enjoy that, Terry. That'll teach you. Should let your neck get better.
Harriman's got some cigarettes at last, but the hand's still shaking. Can they get the car out?
Are you sure? There's enough of us. Yeah, surely we can do something. You'd have to stop. Yeah, you'd have to stop the stage anyway. Yeah. It'd be very difficult just to get everybody in there and too risky, I would say.
Timo Salonen, 1985 world champion, will not win the Lombard RAC Rally. He coasts to a standstill with oil pressure problems.
Mikael Sundström up to 4th. Sundström 4th. And Michael Sundström in the sole remaining Peugeot. And it's interesting, this is the Coventry prepared car. Des O'Dell will be rubbing his hands with glee that his car's still going and the French prepared cars are out of the event. Admittedly, only one through failure of car. But of course, with a tremendous record this year, Peugeot are very anxious to see a car get to the end of this event. They won it last year and have a reputation now to uphold. This is the very first time that the Peugeot Talbot team look like coming round with a blank sheet. And it's important that at least this single car gets to the finish as he comes through this right-hander towards the finish of the stage. And there he does, finishes it in 4th place.
The surviving Peugeot of Michael Sundström is the 4th competitor, quicker than this target time. At Scarborough, Sundström changed the centre differential. He's still 4th in the rally.
You can see the cars here for some 3/4 of a mile. Sundström putting up a time some 5 seconds slower than the fastest as he drops down nearly 1,000 feet to the Wycombe Valley.
The British-built Peugeot, its 3rd fastest on Dalby, and still in 4th place, driven by Finnish driver Michael Sundström. Described as a fast forest stage with tricky bends. Masterful understatement, I would say. This looks like a chicane to Michael Sundström in the Peugeot.
The sole surviving Peugeot of Mikael Sundström holds 4th place. Still in 4th place, Mikael Sundström. As Mikael Sundström blasts off from the start line, he is unaware that only a short distance into the stage, he will hit an icy patch and fly off into the trees and out of the rally.
The sole surviving Peugeot, but not for long. It went end over end and has severe damage and is going out of the rally.
And then away we went into the stage, and about 2.5 miles, 3 miles in, went over a crest. 30 yards after was a sharp right bend, but unfortunately between the crest and the bend there was nothing but sheet ice, and we stood no chance of getting around the bend, so he kept it straight, and unfortunately it sort of dropped over the edge.
Was the car badly damaged, Paul?
Yeah, quite badly damaged, yes. It, as I say, it went over the edge of the road, dropped about 30 feet, nosedived into the earth and undergrowth, and somersaulted end over end.
Happily both Michael and yourself were all right?
Yes, fine, yes.